Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people just seem to rise effortlessly almost, while other people, often the ones working the hardest, stay stuck? Well, I can tell you it's not luck, and it is definitely not about being the loudest person in the room. The truth is, there's an invisible system at play, a hidden architecture that quietly governs all social hierarchies. And today, we are going to decode that system. Think of this as your masterclass on the real mechanics of status and influence. Let's get into it.
This quote, this gets right to the absolute heart of it. It's a paradox, isn't it? We're all taught that power is something you have to take, that you've got to fight tooth and nail for your spot. But the most stable, the most rapid ascent, what you might call a stealth ascent, it happens when the group itself decides to elevate you. You see, power that is granted is so much more absolute than power that is demanded. So the real strategic question becomes, how do you get the group to grant it to you?
To answer that, we've broken this down into 5 parts. First, we're going to explore that core concept, the paradox of power. Then we'll diagnose a huge career killer, something I see all the time, the high utility trap. After that, we'll lay out the elevation roadmap. This is the core framework. And to understand why it all works so well, we'll look under the hood at the psychology of the prestige reflex. And then finally, we'll put it all together in reclaiming your agency, giving you the actual tools you need to shift from being a piece on the board to the player.
All right, so let's just start by tearing down a really common myth. This idea that you have to be more aggressive, more dominant, just louder to get ahead. It's not just outdated, it's actually working against you. In most modern groups, that kind of behavior just paints a target on your back. The real path to power is much quieter, it's more strategic, and it's based on a deep understanding of what the group you're in truly needs. And this brings us right to the core concept, the status elevation framework. Now, this is not some list of cheap office politics tricks. This is a description of an invisible system that's already operating all around you right now. You see, at its core, any group, any team, has 2 fundamental needs. It needs to feel safe, and it needs access to expertise. The person who can provide both of those things without triggering the group's natural defense reflexes is the one who will inevitably be pushed to the top. You're basically aligning your own rise with the group's survival instincts, which makes your ascent feel not just beneficial, but necessary for everyone. Okay, so before we get to the roadmap, we have to talk about the biggest obstacle, the thing that stops most high performers dead in their tracks. And it's a place that, well, it might feel a little familiar to some of you. It's called the high utility trap, and it's the steep price you pay for being too good at the wrong things. Have you ever felt this stagnation burn? It's that sinking feeling, right? When you look around and you realize you're the one solving all the problems, putting out all the fires, basically carrying the whole team on your back. And then you watch someone who does maybe half the work get the promotion that you earned. It is deeply frustrating. And it's not because you're failing. It's because you've become a victim of what some call the meritocracy lie. And you have to understand this distinction. It is absolutely critical. When your main signal is just hard work, you're the first one in, the last one out, you answer every single email in seconds, you are, without realizing it, signaling to the system that you are an excellent, high-quality tool. You're indispensable, but in your current role. Rare competence, on the other hand, sends a completely different signal. It says that you have unique knowledge that can solve a really critical, high-level problem. It signals leader. One is about doing. The other is about knowing. And this metaphor just illustrates it perfectly. You've become the load-bearing wall of a building that you don't even own. I mean, think about it. You can't renovate a building by moving a load-bearing wall, can you? It's too important, it's too integrated into the current structure. By making yourself the most useful person on the team, you've actually made it structurally impossible for the system to promote you. It literally can't afford to lose you in that role. That's status atrophy. And while everyone else is up in the penthouse choosing the furniture, you're stuck down in the foundation, holding the whole thing up. Okay, so we've diagnosed the trap. It's a dead end, but there is a way out, and it has nothing to do with working harder. It's about navigating smarter. And this brings us to the elevation roadmap. This is the blueprint for a totally different kind of ascent. It's a 4-stage mechanism, and it's designed to make your rise feel natural, logical, and frankly, inevitable to everyone else in the group. So what is this roadmap? How does someone bypass that utility trap and engineer this kind of stealth ascent? Well, it's a process. It's all about careful positioning and strategic signaling. Let's break it down, stage by stage. These are the 4 critical stages.
First up is proximity anchoring. That's all about strategically placing yourself near the flows of power and information, but without setting off any alarms. It's just about being in the right rooms. Next is the prestige shift. And this is where you pivot from being that general doer to a specialist knower with a very rare skill. Third is the coalition mandate. This is about building your power base horizontally with your peers, not just vertically with your boss. And finally, you have behavioral anchoring, where you start to non-verbally signal that you're ready for that next level. It's a sequence, and each step builds on the last one to create this unstoppable momentum.
Let's just focus on stage 2 for a second, the prestige shift, because this is the real leverage point. This is where you stop being the person who does everything, and you become the person who knows the one thing. It's about cultivating what's called a rare competence. And it's not just about being good at something, it's about being uniquely capable of solving a high-stakes problem that gives the people in charge major headaches. The moment you demonstrate that ability, you trigger a deep, almost biological prestige response in the group. They just instinctively start to see you as more valuable. Now, this brings us to stage 3, the coalition mandate. The old way of thinking is you just have to get approval from your boss, but the new model is about building what are called status debts with your peers. When you become the go-to person who helps everyone else solve their critical problems, you build a coalition of advocates. You become the indispensable peer. And then, when a leadership opportunity opens up, it's not just you trying to campaign for yourself. Your entire peer group looks up the chain of command and says it has to be them. You haven't seized power, you've been drafted into it. Okay, this roadmap is incredibly effective. But why? Why does it work so well? To really get that, we need to go a layer deeper into the evolutionary psychology that governs how we all perceive status. Think of this as the software that's running in the background of every single human interaction, the brain's internal status radar. And that software is based on something called prestige theory. You see, for thousands and thousands of years, the survival of the tribe didn't just depend on the biggest, most dominant member. It depended on the person who knew where to find water, or how to track game, or which plants could be used as medicine. We are literally hardwired to grant status, to give what's called voluntary deference to people who have rare, valuable knowledge. We instinctively get it. If they rise, the whole group benefits. Dominance gets you compliance through fear. Prestige gets you loyalty through admiration. And that prestige reflex triggers a really powerful cognitive bias known as the halo effect. As soon as someone signals high prestige by showing off a rare skill, our brains take a shortcut. We don't just see them as an expert in that one little area, we unconsciously just assume they're also a good person, a wise strategist, and probably a worthy leader in general. Their specific expertise creates this kind of halo that makes them seem competent in everything else. And that is why the person who knows the one thing is so often seen as more leader-like than the person who does everything. Okay, so we've seen the trap, we've studied the roadmap, and now we understand the deep psychology behind it. Now for the most important part. How do you actually apply this? How do you shift your own trajectory from utility to prestige and reclaim your agency in this whole game? This table really lays out the fundamental mindset shift you have to make. The old utility model is all about seeking approval from above, trying to do everything for everyone, and basically being a reactive node in the network. You just wait for problems to come to you. The new prestige model is about building advocates among your peers, focusing on knowing that one critical thing and becoming an anchor, a source of stability and expertise that other people are naturally drawn to. And the most powerful tactic here is building what's called horizontal debt. This is that coalition mandate we talked about, but put into practice. You have to stop thinking only about impressing your boss. Start thinking about who, at your own level, you can help. Who owes you a favor. And I don't mean this in some transactional, sleazy way. I mean building real social capital. The person whose peers all want them to succeed is the one who's truly running the hierarchy, long before they ever get the official title. Their power base is distributed, it's stable, and it's authentic. And this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Behavioral anchoring, which operates on a totally subconscious level. Your body language, your speech patterns, they are constantly signaling your status to everyone around you. You can start signaling your readiness for the next level right now by adopting the nonverbal cues of the rank you want. This could mean practicing what's called low kinetic volatility, getting rid of anxious fidgeting, and adopting slower, more deliberate movements. It could be using response delays, just taking a strategic 2-second pause before you answer a question to signal thoughtfulness instead of reactivity. It all plays a role. And this isn't about faking it. It's about demonstrating that you're calm, you're in control, and you're already comfortable with more responsibility. You're proving to the group's primitive brain that you're an anchor of stability, not a node of reactivity.
As we start to wrap this up, I want to come back to this central idea. The entire framework we've walked through today, the roadmap, the psychology, it all points to this one conclusion. A frantic, loud, demanding climb for status is fragile. It just creates enemies and it invites challenges. But the status that is granted by a group that genuinely believes you're the right person for the role, now that is absolute. That is stable.
So the ultimate takeaway here is a profound reframing of what ambition even is. The game is not about climbing over the people around you to get to the next rung of the ladder. The real game is to become so valuable, so uniquely competent that you lift the entire group up with you. Because when your success becomes synonymous with the group's success, they won't just let you climb the ladder, they will carry you to the top. So the question I want to leave you with is this: are you building your career to be a better climber, or are you building it to be the reason the whole group elevates?